Someone says, "What's the future?" Vaughn Coleman.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Vaughn Coleman Presents. Of course, before we start, I want to talk about my stuff. So I just closed out my Kickstarter last night, and my Indiegogo, my funding period is done, but it's still in demand. So if you want it, check out Phenomenova on Indiegogo, or you could check it out on Fund My Comic. It's set 20 years after World War III. Phenomenova follows the idealistic son of a war hero who strikes out to become a superhero inspired by his father's legacy. And we just got our trading card stretch goal, which is done by our fan art contest winner. Why is it not loading? Give me a second. It should be loading. So at 300 backers, we hit this goal. So if you guys want this trading card that'll be fully colored and everything, make sure you back the book, because you will get that. You will also get a mini print of this free with your order. So that's 2 stretch goals already on top of this 68-page book. So make sure you get that. But anyway, without further ado, let me bring on my guest. Please welcome Dave Brink. How's it going?
Hi.
Long time no see. It's great to have you on. I mean, your comics have been some of my favorite in the indie scene. I'm always excited for Perfect 10.
Wow. You're jumping right in. It's like you're always moving, right?
Oh yeah.
Always moving. Yeah. Thank you, man. It's been a year ago when I was your guest, and we talked about issue 3, and now we're at issue 5.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty awesome.
And
congratulations with the success for your own book, man.
Thank you.
That's
Great. It's been unbelievable. The success, the everything. I've loved it. I've really loved it. And looking at this one, so Perfect 10. I mean, this book looks outstanding, and we have 1 day left for you to get all 3 of these prints. I remember that was part of the deal last time, right?
No, last time. This is actually my first early bird reward.
Awesome.
I don't think I ever done that before. And I was thinking about what could we do. It should be worth the effort, right? So I invested in this 3-print wide visual drawn by Pau and colored by Daniel. These are the artists of the book, also of the complete series, and we will add those for free. Also for digital backers, by the way. You just get a digital file, and you can print it out or use it as a back screen or whatever. So
gorgeous. It's gorgeous. I love it. And I love it's amazing to me about how many characters are in this series. And it still works. Like you have so many new characters in issue. You're moving at such a fast pace, and yet I care about the characters.
Yeah, well, you have to when you are an indie creator, and you can't really push out books every month. Mm-hmm. So with every issue, you need to introduce as much as you can without like overloading the reader with new stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it takes some restraint sometimes, but with this particular issue, I had to go all out, because this takes place in the headquarters of the villains, and
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot of villains, so we had to introduce a lot of them.
So there's still more that are being introduced.
Yes, we have a few new ones, but most of them are like they're just simply there. So there are some that you don't really get to know, but the ones that you need to know, you will know.
Gotcha. That's awesome. I really like, so you're always somehow finding a way to top yourself. When we left the character, she was in a really interesting predicament. So this is how many pages?
32.
32. That's awesome. I love it. I love how much you pack into every issue, and it always leaves you wanting more. So my question is, I remember you had said this is going to be a limited run, right?
Yeah,
How many issues is it going for?
6.
6. That's what I thought. So we're almost there.
Yeah, we're almost there.
Yeah.
I'm very happy because this will be the first time that I have this complete arc to actually finish. That will be amazing. It's the first arc that I tried. Right, usually I try to keep stories short. So I have the security that they get finished,
Mhm.
that they're done. So we're taking on this longer story, which takes few years to finish. That's quite the challenge. Hi, good stuff.
Some good stuff.
And it can be scary. Can I finish this? Will people come back for the next issue? Do I have the funds? Every time the same challenges. So far, so good. So hopefully next year we can finish this entire story.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's just nuts. So by next year, you're thinking it'll take. So when do you think this book is like? How far along is this book in production?
It's now 1/3. It's done, and so we still have some work to do, but it always goes this way with every book. There's this period that I write, and we make like sketches, and then once the production starts, things move in overdrive. So now things should be like we still need like 2 months, maybe 3 months to get it all finished. But we'll get it done. We always get it done. And there's a second book with this campaign, and that book is like 90% done.
Gotcha.
So we're doing 2 things at the same time.
Yeah, it's everyone. Well, first, before we get into, because I do want to talk about Power Trip, because I'm new to that, and I decided to back it because I was like, you know what, you've got 100% success rate. All your other books look great, so I decided to try out the new story. But let's talk about Perfect 10. So for those that haven't, well, I guess we'll watch the trailer first, and then we'll talk about Perfect 10, because I really,
Alright.
for people that are, I want fellow Perfect 10 fans, more of them. So. You heard the man. Back it today, because then you won't be able to get these awesome prints. So tell everyone what Perfect 10 is about.
Okay, so the Genuine Universe is a superhero universe. If you like superheroes, if you like the Marvel Universe, DC Universe, you might find something for you here. And 10 wakes up in this world. She doesn't know who she is, but she discovers that she's basically a synthetic being. She's not human, and she has to figure out what her role is in this universe. And she finds herself like stuck in this war between the 2 factions of superpowered beings, and she has to make some decisions what she wants to do within that. So what her role is, and there are people who want her dead. There are some people who want to rescue her. There are a few things going on, And meanwhile, we introduce some other characters that are pretty awesome. So you get to know the Genuine Comics universe through her.
Oh yeah, and she's a great entry point character because you kind of see her almost being born right into the action, and it's such a great introduction. So it's easy to jump into, and it's hard to put down. You're going to want to keep reading it. And what's great about it is I got to read the first 3 issues, remember, back to back on the plane. And now you guys, if you're just joining in, you're lucky you get to back the first 5. And on top of that, you've got some more stuff. So tell everyone about Power Trip.
Yeah, this is the second issue. So Power Trip is an anthology series. We have so many concepts and characters that we can't give them all their own title. It's not doable, but we can introduce them to you through this Power Trip format. So these are 3 shorter stories made by 3 different creative teams. So I reach out to other indie writers and artists, put it together. I give them this concept or this character, and they go nuts with it, right? And sometimes they bring their own characters, they add their own things, which is really awesome. So through this, we can also build upon the lore that we have. And so you have like different styles, different writing things. And in this particular issue, we introduce Shadow Lion, which is a character superhero from Brazil. He's also created by a Brazilian. So he kind of donated the character to Genuine Comics. He had this folder with a bunch of characters, and he sent me this message: "Hey, I have all these characters that I once thought of. And I'm not going to do anything with it. I have no interest in making comic books. Maybe you can use it." And so I looked through the file, and there was only one character that I thought had potential. The rest didn't really interest me. But one character, and that was the Shadow Lion character. So we kind of redesigned him, and we kept true to the core that Jamie Cardoso, he's the creator, that he thought about, and we built upon that. And it's written by Jochem van der Steen. He's another Dutch writer. And then the second story is the Flying Dutchman. Flying Dutchman is a little bit the Superman archetype from the Genuine Comics universe, and he's from my country. He's from the Netherlands. So I wrote that. It's drawn by Pau. And then the third story is called The Phenomenals. It's purely coincidental, Vaughn. So Phenomenova. Someone suggested we needed to do this crossover. Phenomenova. But the Phenomenals, yeah, that is written by Lee Byron Carver from The Company Man, and it's drawn by Gilbert Monsanto. And it's so the core premise is that you have within the Genuine Comics universe, you have this agency that monitors metanormals, because that makes sense in this world where you have people with superpowers. They need to be tracked and oftentimes trained to become super cops. Mm-hmm. So you have this academy called the Meta Academy, and so people get trained there to become meta marshals. Those are like superheroes. They get paid to be superheroes, but many people don't make it through the Meta Academy because of like they're not mentally equipped, or they have attitude issues, or whatever, for whatever reason, right? But so the Phenomenals consists of 5 of these individuals. They band together because they want to be superheroes anyway. So they don't have backup from the government or resources from the government, and they go their own way. And that's this.
That's awesome. This is great. I like this. So you have people, they pitch their ideas to you, or you go to them, or how does it generally work?
I go to them. So I have so many stuff, so I just approach someone, would you be interested in writing something for us? If they say yes, then I ask them, what kind of things do you like to write? And then they oftentimes they have something that they prefer. So I think about this concept. Maybe this is something for you. I do some suggestions. Would you like this? Would you like this? And then they pick and choose, right? Lee was pretty good with handling group team books, group dynamics with the company man. So he was perfect for this story, for the Phenomenals.
So, sorry, John's Longbox is saying hi.
John.
How you doing? How you doing, pal? Good to see you around here. That's awesome. So you do that. I mean, so, and then I take it, so these are now your properties to do with whatever you want.
Yeah, I created them.
That's
apart
awesome.
from Shadowline, but I got the rights.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
we need. Listen, I as much as I love everyone doing stuff, work for hire is also a great way to build up. It's great for other creators, and then it's also great because, you know, just to be tied into the genuine verse, or to have say, yeah, I worked on that. It would be so, like, it's such a great thing for people to be a part of, you know. And this book looks great, you know. Great title.
Thanks. Yeah, but there are characters that other people bring in, right? So, for instance, in the first story, Shadowlion, the writer, he created this supervillain called Bestafera, which is based on a Brazilian legend or myth. That's the red guy with the horns here, Bestafera. So he's now a genuine character. He's within the genuine universe, but the same goes when I write for someone else for different company. Any character that I create,
they own. Right.
Yeah, that's theirs, and that's perfectly fine. That's
how it works,
you know. Yeah,
absolutely.
And Michael Oden also created some villains for his run on American Bliss.
I didn't know he did that. Or I'll have to. American Bliss is another one I'll have to check out. So how long are these short stories?
It depends. Let me see. 2 of them are 10 pages, and 1 of them is 8 pages. And then in between, you get some pinups.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then American Bliss, because I backed issue 1 as well of this. American Bliss first appeared in here, right?
Yes, was in there, and people responded well. And from that came the single issue.
I have to get that one. That's on my list. I want all the genuine verse stuff. But yeah, American Bliss looks. Let's see, I don't know if I got. I know I got the power. How many books are available as add-ons on this campaign?
Oh, I don't really know. Maybe 9 or something. I'm not sure.
Is American Bliss on here?
Yeah, American Bliss is there.
Must have missed it.
The only title, there are a few titles that aren't there, like Ajax and the Earthling series, because from Earthling we have like two issues are completely sold out, and it feels a bit weird to sell people issue 2 and 4 while they can't get 1 and 3, you know. So I'm not sure what's to do about that at the moment.
Reprint.
Yeah, reprint. Yeah, when I have the funds, I can do that.
Oh yeah, printing is a. I mean, that I didn't realize how much that stuff costs.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. That's crazy. You think when you run a campaign and the funds come in, you're like, oh, that looks good, right? Well, most of it is gone for printing and for shipping, and you're glad when there's a little bit left. But yeah.
Yeah, and you have do you have comics available on your website too, right?
Yes. Marcus.
Yeah, Marcus is good people. Let's see. 1 second.
Yeah, the website is I have this rule that books, so the backer has always get the books first, and then a year passes, and then the books move on to the shop.
Oh, awesome.
The store. So you have to so your a year. You have a year head start when you back something
And when is this all shipping out?
from the store.
Or
You
from
mean-
I'm sorry, from the campaign. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
From the store I know is right away, right?
Yeah, from the stores right away. That's all in stock. And the campaign, I think, end of this year. That's the goal.
Awesome.
Yeah, that would be great. But I said I put the delivery date like very far away, so sometime early next year. But it's probably end of this year. That's because it's it feels better when you know you have time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, I didn't do that. So
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I thought I was giving myself time, and I'm like, really not. I'm
Yeah,
really
not. The only difference between being late and not being late, that's the time you put on your campaign.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, I gotta learn that. Well, that, and also, I mean, at a certain point, when if the years go by, then people might start asking questions, but generally, yeah. So I have a question. What is the best reading order that you would recommend for people for your stories?
What do you mean? From
Like,
the complete catalog, right?
Yeah, your complete catalog, because I'm interested.
Right now, I think people should start. Well, it kind of depends what you like, but if you like superhero stuff, which is generally the audience that likes these books, start with Perfect 10-1.
Perfect. All right,
because
that was a great start.
That is she's new to this world, so as a reader you're also new, so she's the stand-in for the reader, basically.
Mhm.
Right? Plus you get to learn about the universe fairly quickly. Within like 4 issues it really ramps up. So and then if you're interested, you can check out the other titles. Like we have Dream Girl, a sleeper agent, that was a very well received book.
And is that for
the Power Trip series? Yeah.
All right.
Dream Girl. That's a very well received book. She will also make an appearance in American Bliss 2. She is basically she can manifest herself in dreams, and she fights these dream demons. They call the Garamun, and so when you have a nightmare, this means you are visited by one of these dream demons, and they try to get into the real world through you. So when you have like nightmares, they can turn into night terrors, and at some point they can take over your mind and your body, and then they are basically here. And it's a Dream Girl's job to prevent that from happening. So she can go into the dream world, and when she is in the real world, she can also use like dream energy. So she charges up from the dream world. She has dream energy that she uses to manipulate the world around her, a bit like Scarlet Witch, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, her powers are like gone. So she has to recharge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. I got to be honest. I always come up with superhero names, and I was like, oh, Dream Girl, like, because everyone says Dream Girl. That's such a great name. And then I saw you, and I was like, God damn it, And apparently, John Zongbox said that it's a similar problem with him, where so I got to beat you to the punch at one point, but hats off to you. First of all, I am shocked no one. I said this in my last interview. I am shocked that no one else came up with Perfect 10. As soon as I saw that, I was like, that's so obvious.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it either. But the name Dream Girl is actually taken. It is from a DC character from the Legion, of Superheroes. Yeah.
I hate those guys. You know why? Because my character was Lightning Lad for years when I was a kid, and then when I found out about the Legion of Superheroes, I was like, I'm gonna have a vendetta against these characters. No, I'm kidding. But I was like. Because it's funny, the Legion of Superheroes, I don't know if that was the case for you growing up, but they were apparently one of the most popular teams. And by the time I was into comics, they were like, oh yeah, they were like a thing and whatever. But apparently they were like one of the most prolific teams, right?
Really? Yeah.
I don't know.
I never could get,
You never got
get
into
into
them either?
them. No, not really.
I'm sure
But
I'll
this is
find a
why
fan.
this is why I named my comic Dream Girl Sleeper Agent, right? So it's
Yeah.
something
I
different.
told my friend had a name for a character that's already taken, and I'm like, and I'm trying to convince this friend that I'm like, just add a subtitle, and it works.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna text that friend again after this and be like, I'm serious about that. It works. Is there a way I could add oh wait, hold on. So sometimes I think of a note to write. I have these, and then I start talking, and I was just saying add, and that's not what I was.
Yeah, I know, right? I know.
I was writing a script to someone. I'm like, I'm like, that's not. Anyway, so I just ordered from your campaign. Is there a way to get to these add-ons, or no? Should I just order from the website?
No, you can the most books you can just get through the campaign.
Okay, because I already
you
backed.
wanna-
Is what I'm wondering.
All right. Well, there are like the Earthling books. You need to go to the web store if you want
Sounds good.
those. If you want
I think-
Ajax, you need. I have like a few Ajax comics left, so not much left.
I want to get. This is a series I'd love to get my friend. It's really interesting that I'm like friends with a lot of my favorite creators now, because it's almost like I want to speculate and stuff. Like, for example, like I'm a fan of Fiendish now, but it's like actually Rini probably wouldn't tell me her plans. Well, she might. She'll tell me some stuff, but
story wise, you mean? You want to know the story?
Yeah. So it's weird being like friends with a lot of my favorite creators now, because it's like, you know,
world, huh?
But I do love it. I do love it. And Genuine Verse, I gotta say, everyone has ideas their own superhero universe.
Mm-hmm.
And you're probably my favorite approach to it so far. Because what I like, first of all, I mean, I'm biased because it's all I've read, but Perfect 10 was such a perfect, no pun intended, introduction. And it was like, there's so much world history, and you do a lot of explaining in that book. There's times where I'm like, oh my God, that's a big text bubble and a lot of explaining, but I'm like, I'm not bored. And in a lesser, I don't know how you do it, but there are parts where I'm like, that is a lot of word balloons and a lot of explaining, but I do care, I am interested. And I'm curious, who are your favorite writers?
My favorite is Kirkman.
Kirkman.
I have adapted a lot from him, from his method. Chris Claremont, I like. John Byrne is one of my favorite. Eric Larson, and what they all have what Eric Larson and Kirkman foremost. They don't use like thought balloons. They don't use like captions, like locations. So I want to keep the text that you read to a minimum. So the least amount of text possible, even when things are being told. You have this narrator, right? But even then, it has to be as short as possible, and maybe that's why it doesn't bother you, right? So you breeze through it, and you let the art do the talking for you. But same with movies, for instance. When you watch a movie, you don't get next scene and then a location. You're now there. You just know from the scene transfer. So and having characters think also. So not having thought balloons also speeds up or to me is pleasant to read for two reasons. You have more art to show what's going on. You have to empathize with the characters, so you kind of can get what they are thinking, so you don't have to tell it, right? And I think this is better. This is better to do that, just like with movies.
I love that. I think one of the things that as having because I'm glad I had written like 11 issues ahead, and then it became to condense it down to 8. And when I kept going back to my issue 2 script, my stuff like that, or when I was revising even my issue 1 script, I noticed I did a lot of explaining things that didn't need explaining. I remember one of my issues, it was like, oh, there's the headquarters. I need to know the layout and everything. And then it'd be like, all right, here's the living room here. And there's literally pages of, I'm like, what is this? Like, what am I? doing? Like, I was like, I was like, well, does anyone else do this? I'm like, well, I know what the X-Men mansion looks like. They didn't do a house tour. And it was stuff
No.
like, I think it's one of the things you have to learn is now they'll get it. They'll get it. There's,
Yes.
you know, or like there's brevity is something I learned. I just recently got my letters in and I was doing revisions, and there's some lines where I'm like, okay, nah, that's just it's a couple, like, tone that down, I think is you realize often it's better to just, people will get the point. People will get the point. And people sometimes I do like novelistic writing. Like there's parts, you know, Claremont obviously did it quite a bit.
Mhm.
But you'll notice he got better at it as he went. Because even then, even though I liked it, the earlier issues, oh my God, like every time Nightcrawler teleported, every single time, they were like, with a crack of flame and the stench of brimstone. And I'm like, you know, I could see him visually teleporting. You don't need to. Or Colossus turns his body into steel. I'm like, I can. The artist drew that. I could see it.
that had to do also with the monthly format and the approach that every issue was someone's first, right? So you have to constantly explain the powers and where they are and stuff like that.
But to your point, I mean, like, I get that, but it was also like, and maybe it wasn't as commonplace, but I remember seeing X-Men 2 when I was a little kid, and you just saw reappears, and I'm like, okay, so he teleported. Like there wasn't a
right, yeah.
And you know, I think that's key. You know, I decided to introduce certain characters through action, but sometimes there are things that you have to just explain. You know, what's one of the things I noticed that can only be done with words is smell. Is one of the few things you can't do that in film. You can't do that with just visuals. I mean, you could have someone react to a smell, but you can't describe the smell without words. I notice. I feel like that's one of the few things. But you know, every medium has limitations, and I don't know. I like to see what I can do. So okay, you mentioned your favorite
Gorilla
writers.
Mar. Hi.
How you doing, Gorilla Mar? What's going on? You mentioned some of your favorite writers. And I know if we've talked about some of your favorite comics in the past. I forget. Have we talked about who your favorite characters are, though? Because I'm curious. You write such a wide variety of characters.
I don't remember if we talked about that, and it's difficult for me to say who my favorite characters are. I really liked the Hulk when I was young. The Hulk because I could relate in some way. I was this loner. I had no friends, you know, very, and he just wanted friends, and he wanted to I don't know. I could relate to him, and I liked like characters that didn't get enough spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
I thought like Black Bolt. I thought Black Bolt was really awesome. Like the leader of the Inhumans, the king, even, you know, and his power was fantastic, and that they wrote this character without actually giving him a dialogue. That was really interesting. But he only works within this group dynamic. You kind of need other characters to explain what he's thinking, or what he's gesturing, or whatever. So that was pretty interesting, and I liked the Teen Titans.
Mm-hmm. New Teen Titans. I assume I got to finish that run still.
All right, yeah, with the entire story with Terra and.
I haven't gotten there yet.
Oh, you haven't. I won't say anything, but it's a good run. It's a good run with the legendary George Perez, right?
I mean, that's been adapted so many times, but I've seen adaptations, you know, but I haven't seen that particular story. And I understand that there was stuff that was omitted from the children's cartoon. Sounds like for good reason.
I've never seen any cartoons. I only know the comic.
I mean, I remember because they gave the problem with my generation is we grew up on a lot of the superhero media, so they just assume they almost take like ownership of characters they don't know. Like I remember when I was first getting into comics, Kenneth Roquefort drew this really sexy Starfire, and a bunch of kids who grew up on the kiddie show were like, oh my God, that's disgusting. They're making her sexual. She was the pure girl in the show. And I was like, oh my God, that's Starfire. And I remember doing that. But then I, unlike these people who wrote these articles, I actually did 2 seconds of research and I just Googled and I was like, oh, she's always been like that. Okay.
Right.
And I was like, I didn't know that. That's interesting. That's something I didn't know. I wish, and I think a lot of writers today don't do that. I understand the need to take ownership over your characters, right? But I imagine, like, if someone's writing one of your characters, you'd make sure they're respectful to it. And I wish more writers had done that and would do that.
This I would be very curious to see how other people would do it. So this book, Crossworlds, is a crossover between Perfect 10 and Camilo Wallace from Arctic Press, right? So someone else wrote 10 in this book.
And how'd they do?
They did pretty good, but there's the disclaimer that this book is not canon, right?
Not canon.
They basically, it's a bit goofy. It's a bit silly story. It's kind of humor, a bit sexy, and so with that lens, it was acceptable. When someone would like pick up the story after issue 6, when I'm done, I will like be more critical, probably.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, so that's really interesting. That you already have your crossover. You've come so far and put out how many books in how many years?
Yeah, it looks a lot, but I've been doing this for 10 years now. So it's I think I have 16, 17 books or something.
Wow.
So it's like we can do 2 books per year, maybe 3. So it looks more than it maybe is, but I'm constantly busy. People always see me crowdfunding something.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's good. It's great. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you're always putting something out. There's always something to read. The thing is, there's always every chance you do a campaign is a chance for people to read your older books too. That's one of the things, it's an investment and you're constantly making money. Like issue 1, for example, I'm sure was an investment, but every time you do one of these campaigns, you've got a new person who's going to be backing issue 1. Like you got me when you were doing issue 3. And so that's always a good sign. And I hope, and I want to get more of your books. I just had Michael Odin. Was he my last guest? He might have even been my last guest. Let me see. No, he was 2 guests ago. So it's interesting. I had no idea that he came up with American Bliss.
Yep. Yeah, Michael Odin writes like a lot of variety. So a lot of different like genres and stuff like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I wanna branch out. It's weird because I have a long storyline for my first book, but then I also want to do a ton of. I got to do a hot chick book. That's just it has. Well, I did with my first published work. It was just a short story, but I know those tend to sell. I'm Perfect 10. I mean, look, you got me in the door with that, and then you kept me with a great story. And I like that you're able with these 2 covers. Now you go from these hot shit books to now you have these 2 covers that are more like she's more covered up. So what was that a deliberate decision or did I close your tab?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But but she was covered up since issue 1. Yeah, the first 9 pages of issue 1, she's like basically naked. But after that, she has the suit.
But I mean, maybe I should have rephrased it. But I mean, like for example, this is not meant to be an overly sexy cover, or this one.
So you mean this suit? Choice?
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Yeah. I'm not going to tell you what that's about, but it's we have to introduce new things with every issue, and 10 is badass. So we need to level up to 10's next level, right? Level 11. So
awesome. That's so cool, man. I really love that. We got 1 day left to get this. I want to see this. I mean, first of all, this deserves at least 100 backers. How many did you get on issue 4?
Oh, I have to check. 200 something.
200. Come on, what do you got? I was dying to get to the next one after that cliffhanger. Like, that's the thing. I want these books to keep. That's one of the great things about, you do these shorter issues. Actually, if anything, Dave, I would say you kind of were an inspiration, because I was afraid, are people not going to want my next one if I do this? And then your shorter issues, when I get it, I'm like excited, and it's, it means that it comes out faster, but that the hype keeps going because I have that excitement, kind of influenced me. So my next issue is going to be 24 pages.
What is it now?
Well, this first issue was always going to be, this is always kind of my plan, was the shorter issues after the first, but the first issue is 65 of story, 68 total.
Right. All right. Like your pilot episode.
Oh yeah. Like my big pilot. Like I wanted to do it like how there's those old school graphic novels, that kind of thing. How they'd start with or giant size X-Men #1, stuff like that.
But is your first story, does it end with a continuation?
I mean,
is it one story?
Yes and no. I would say, like, you're gonna want issue 2, but I made it where it's like he does go through his first arc, his first kind of superhero adventure, but it's kind of like the adventure is just beginning. Like, he wants to become a superhero. He has his first outing. He puts on his costume.
Right.
But he hasn't completed his journey yet. That being said, if I were to never make another issue again, it would be extremely disappointing. But I think people would be happy with kind of where it went. Is it a complete story? Depends on your definition of it, but it was complete enough where I felt I could charge this price. I that's why I decided to make it longer, is it needed to be. I'd say it's fairly self-contained. And what I like is I'm getting feedback on issue 2 now from my assistant editor. Is I put a recap in issue 2, so you can get
right. So you can skip issue 1.
Yeah, but then you'll be like, "What? This stuff sounds awesome. I want to read this."
Yeah,
that's my thing. I'll be like, "You don't have to," and then they're gonna want to. They're gonna want to.
Yeah. Well, that's not a bad plan.
Like, for example, I was gonna say, for example, like, if you just tell a good story, people will eventually want more. You don't have to beg them and beg them and beg them. Like you never once, I don't think, even told me, "Oh, you should get American Bliss" or whatever. I just was like, Perfect 10 never was like, "You have to read these issues to understand what's going on." I just said, "I want more. Does he have more?" And that's how you get people.
Yeah, I don't think people should write comics in a way that you absolutely need to read other stuff, especially between different titles.
Yeah,
that's a mistake. So anyone can pick any J.M. Comics title as a separate thing and read that, and you have a complete thing. You have a complete story with characters that belong there, and sometimes they will show up within other books, but that's just for fun and to give the reader the notion that this is a bigger world, right?
Absolutely.
If something interests you, there might be this book out there with that character. So that's always cool.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Grey Wolf. Hi.
Grey Wolf, how you doing?
Richie Dupe.
How you doing, Richie? Yeah, I think that's a great approach to do it. I think, like, for example, I'm reading Claremont's run, and I'm getting to the point where most of what I'm reading isn't even Claremont's run. It's just adjacent titles. And the truth is, I really don't technically have to read all of it, but I've become too completionist for my own good. And often it's like, sometimes it's like, oh, do I have to read this? And the truth is, you should make it where it's like, no, you don't have to. But again, I guess I want to, so that's part of it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I don't read that much anymore. Just it's a time thing.
Yeah,
I think, but also when I start to read a comic book, and really it has to grab me, otherwise my mind goes to my own story, right? My own script.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I do it as that's but sometimes it does feed inspiration. Sometimes I'm like, I can't write because I have to read, and then sometimes when I read, I start thinking about my own story. So, you know, there's always balance. And I think everyone pulls, like, listen, we all pulled from stuff we read, from movies we watched, from everything, anything and everything, real life, you name it. We get inspiration from everything.
Absolutely. You know, man, these comics that I make, this universe, it's I grew up with the Marvel books, with the DC comics. So these things I loved, and I wanted to produce the books that I want to buy, that I want to read. So obviously, you get this colorful superhero universe that is inspired by what I know.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that, right? It's you give it your own spin, your own twist.
Oh yeah. And I think that's great. And I think that's one of the things where it's like, even if the big two don't do super well, that's okay, because that spirit is, I feel like this spirit in these comics is more in line with those old school, with its own twist. Like, it's original enough, but like more than original enough, but it's more in line with those old school comics than I'd say a lot of those things, which is why I think it's great that we're doing this, that we can carry on the spirit. We don't need the companies to do it. We have the enthusiasm and the talent in the independent space that we could really carry on.
Right. Now you have this Colin Kaepernick guy. So he was so he got like 4 million to make comic books for some reason.
AI.
I don't know the exact details, but so basically it's now a company that he wants to set up that makes books through artificial intelligence. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? When I got when I would get 4 million, right? I would hire you. I would hire other creators to make something together.
I'm available,
to be
Dave.
creative. I promise you, man. This is just weird. When you love, so this means these people they get involved with comics and with art, and they have no passion for it whatsoever.
It's infuriating. It's really infuriating. And it's not, because I understand people. First of all, the AI thing, this is going to be devastating to them. Like, I think people complain too much. When people complain about Keanu Reeves and stuff, that's stupid. Like, because that is bringing new people, but this isn't bringing new people, because the guy creating it is using AI art. I don't know a single comic book creator or fan that would want this. This isn't made for comic book fans. Every artist across the whole political spectrum, even Kaepernick's biggest fans, are freaking out about this on socials, rightfully so. There is no good to this. You know, this is terrible, and I hope it's just not good. And has he ever shown an interest in comic books? No,
but I think his goal was to how do you say it? Level the field, like so people who are like talent challenged, they can also make books. that's a bit the angle. I think so. Everyone can make books. So what's the point of that, right? When everyone can make books, then what? You have like a gazillion books, and it's all made by so computers make it. I don't see the point. The only people that benefit are like maybe these companies that can sell these programs, where you can use for these to make this crap. I don't know.
It's ridiculous. This is it's so ridiculous. And I'm glad people are just like saying no to this. $4 million. $4 million.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Do you know where's that money going to? Like, it's not paying the talent.
No.
What is he doing with it? Just printing?
I've absolutely
buy this.
I don't know. Technically, they don't even need to print. They can go full digital, right? When you don't care about comics, why even print them? You can do everything digital.
So it's going to be controversy, and then I can't see this making money. But the thing is, I don't know what they were thinking with this. But I mean, it's just overall, I can't even imagine. I would never use AR, not even just on principle, but also just, I need someone to talk to, someone to bounce ideas off of, I'm not an artist. So,
no.
You know,
there was this I get sometimes approached by people. They have this campaign and they would love to come on my show every Sunday, guys.
Great
I
show. Yeah,
drink
it's good.
with Brink and I talk with other creators and I showcase their campaigns, right? And he had this campaign that had obviously this AI like
Yeah.
cover, right? And so I I asked him, can I know the name of the artist? And he didn't reply. And
Mm.
so and then I asked a few more times. He said it's not really made by anyone. So he kind of confessed, and then he took it down, but he never. So he never came to the show. But this is so I don't
Yeah.
really care who you are or your political stuff or whatever. I just care that you care about
About the
comics.
medium.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm the same way. I'm the same way. This medium needs to be run by people who put comics and the medium first. And if you're doing we have to branch out to bring attention to comics. That I understand. But if you're being detrimental to comics, if you're, not working to better yourself as a creator, to put out quality products, to tell good stories, if that's not how you're using your time and your resources, it's not, you're not helping the medium grow. You're not. Comics are, a powerful medium in and of themselves, and they should be treated as such.
Yeah, well, there's little respect, I think, from people who don't get it. They have little respect for the medium. You also see that with people who work within the industry. Even they have no respect for the medium, and so this is a logical conclusion that eventually you get books made by computers because they don't care.
No, they don't. But this is a book by someone who does care.
Yes.
So that's the point of all this, is that we have people that care about comics. Dave Brink is always working hard to deliver comics. He delivers, he fulfills, and he does it in a pretty timely manner, I'd say. I mean, I've gotten a few books from you, and on top of that, he has a back catalog of books you can buy. So if you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to take a chance yet, I want something, well, there's on his website books you can back already, and then you'll want this. So no matter where you go, I'm going to make sure that I have the link to your website too. I need to create a website. I might have to ask you for some advice on creating a website as well.
Okay. Well, I'm not an expert.
Why? No, see the thing. No. Well, somebody's gonna. I'll just bother a bunch of people and then come to my own conclusions. Sure. Is my plan. That's usually how I go about things.
Sure, man. Yeah, of course.
But,
by the way, we just went over the 6K mark. This means that the first stretch goal is unlocked, which will be 2 new trading cards. We have these trading cards here. They're numbered. So the
trading cards are cool.
Yeah. So characters. Every character gets this cool little card drawn by a Dutch artist called René Bergmans. So we have this one. We have, what do we have? We have the Flying Dutchman. And we have a bunch, right? So we get 2 new ones with every campaign. We make new ones if we reach the stretch goals. So far, so good. So I will post that later today, which cards.
That's
because
awesome.
The cards are done, so I can post them later today.
Is there another stretch goal?
Not yet. I like to bring in some more, and then we'll see. Maybe at 10K that we'll do another stretch goal.
I get that. Yeah, this is so great. That's such. I love the trading card to do. Again, another inspiration. I think I was liking it because I was reading your comics, and then I like that you do extra almost storytelling with your trading cards, or that you have a way to get to know the characters. Because ultimately, the Marvel Universe isn't great because it's a cool universe setup. It's great because of the characters, right? And that's the approach you took, is, even these like Perfect 10, I was like, oh, I'm interested in her already. And then you tricked me, Dave, into caring about these other characters. To the point where now we have this other chick on the cover. And I'm like, I want to know what she's doing, because I care about her now.
You've read 4 issues now, right? So you know a little bit.
Yeah.
You know a little bit. Right. Yeah. But this issue will be bonkers, man. It's like so many characters. This is the biggest amount, the biggest roster that I ever like wrote. It it was absolutely ridiculous. It was a nightmare to write, but and Pau is doing his very best to get all these characters in there, and so you have some magnificent splash pages with a lot of things going on, a lot of characters, and yeah, really really cool. But this is stuff that I want to write. That when someone sends me this book and I read it, I'm like, wow, this is awesome, you know. So this is the what I'm going for, the wow factor.
Love it. Love it. Fantastic stuff. Everyone, make sure to check out Dave's stuff. Check out his website. Check out this campaign. It'll all be coming to you by the end of the year. And American Bliss's first appearance, by the way, is in Power Trip, right?
Power Trip 1. Yes, you can
and
also...
Is Dream Girl in that too, or no?
No, Dream Girl was her own title. Her own
okay.
book. Some characters... get their own title immediately because I have this story for them. But other times I just want to introduce them, and then we write something short for in Power Trip.
Gotcha. Well, if you're ever looking for a writer, I know a guy.
All right. Let me know who it is.
Oh yeah, his name is Vaughn Coleman. He's really cool.
Oh, okay. I'll check it out.
Yeah, but this is great. Yeah, I might have, because I didn't order American Bliss with it, but I already ordered Power Trip, so I'll figure out. I'll probably wait for Power Trip and then read American Bliss.
Sure, man.
Because the American Power Trip takes place first, right?
Yeah, technically, okay. This is true. You don't really need to read Power Trip to read American Bliss, but
I'll definitely be getting American Bliss.
Chronology.
I mean. You put a hot chick in an American flag, you got me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so site bookmarked. Holy shit.
Yeah, he's got his site bookmarked. That's awesome.
That's incredible.
Well, it's good. So thank you guys so much. I've already backed both your campaigns. Thank you, Gorilla Mar. You rock. Tune in. I think tomorrow, I'm double checking, but I might be having my artist come on my show for an interview tomorrow. So check that out. Dave, where's the best place everyone can follow you?
On X, at Jamin Comics. That's my thing there. I have a Facebook page, which you can technically check out, and Instagram. It's all Jamin Comics. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm trying to get some more subscribers there. I do weekly interviews with other ink creators, and I do every few weeks. I do this. I look over campaigns and I critique campaigns from other people together with Michael Oden. So go subscribe to that. And awesome. Vaughn, thank you for having me today, man.
It was my pleasure. It was absolutely my pleasure. Of course. And tune in to the channel next time. And as we close out, make sure you back Perfect 10. And I'm going to play the trailer for my comic book, Phenomenova. See you guys. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye.
When the whole world was dragged into World War III, brave men like my father fought on the front lines. And they weren't alone. That was 20 years ago. Now it's up to us to carry on their legacy. And every so often, the earth from which we come gives way for something new. Something greater to be born, and with them, even greater threats to face. Bring it on! Phenomenova. For you, Dad. for you.